everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, July 16th, 2023. So are we supposed to all just pretend that EMT was in the room when Phyllis killed Jeremy Stark? Is it that Phyllis is lying and the EMT is lying, or are we being asked to lie? I'm not sure which it is, but it's bunk. Either way, it's bunk. I was in the room when Jeremy died, okay, and that EMT was not. I saw what happened. It was self-defense, yes, but I think that I would make a better witness since I was actually there. Call me to the stand, Michael. I mean, Heather. Lord. What kind of trouble has Gloria gotten herself into in Singapore? That is the real burning question on my mind this week. Oh. And why did the EMT become such a weenie all of a sudden? He was perfectly happy to shake down Jeremy Stark for his cut of the cash. I saw that too, oh yeah. That EMT was supposed to have gotten enough money to last him for a lifetime, and now 2 months later, he decides that he just wants to unburden his conscience just so long as Tucker takes care of his mommy while he's doing prison time. Okay. This guy just volunteers to go to jail so that Phyllis can go free so that she can irritate Diane on a daily basis on Tucker and Ashley's behalf. Okay. It's a solid plan. Oh my goodness. Tracy and I never thought that we would see the day that Billy would be the voice of reason in this whole family. I mean, Billy was like, oh, we have a business problem? Well, why don't we fix it by doing business and not come up with some crazy roundabout scheme? I was really impressed with Billy this week, actually. He suggested that maybe if Diane is the problem for Jabot, then maybe Diane should step down from Jabot. I gotta hand it to him for dishing out the obvious answer, because Diane had come to Billy. She came to him for, I guess, some strategic help, coming up with a way to defeat Ashley. And Billy said, well, if you really want to solve the problem, step down from your position. I mean, you seems obvious. But why should Diane do that? Why should she? She has worked hard to get this job and to get this spot in life. And she is Jack's soon-to-be family, and Jack has rightfully offered her the job at the family business. I am wondering, though, when is this wedding gonna happen? Jack asked Diane this week, will you be my girl? It was so cute. But this is like the third time that he has asked her to get married on the spot. And it's always like, yeah, it never ends up happening. I'm starting to get anxious and worry that the wedding is not going to happen. And I kind of wonder if Jack is going to somehow end up falling back in love with Phyllis instead. Wasn't Michael saying something this week about how Jack will surely find a way to forgive Phyllis, just like he forgave Diane. Well, maybe Phyllis is going to come back and give Jack some kind of passionate plea that will melt his heart. Or I don't know, Phyllis has a way with Jack. Maybe she will end up putting on one of her many, many wigs and wear it for him in bed. Or maybe Nikki will become a new love interest for Jack. While Diane was talking to Billy, Jack was talking to Nikki, and I was so excited about this. Thank you, Y&R, for writing a scene for Jack and Nikki. I thought Nikki looked so beautiful in her kind of neon floral print up against the navy blue background of the jazz club walls. Oh, I love that she was just hanging out there. I agree. There is something very relaxing and peaceful about the jazz club. It's very cool and calm, and yeah, it's got a vibe, a definite vibe, and I like it. And I loved just hearing them talk. Jack was super paranoid at first that Nikki was spying on him for Victor, and it's just indicative of the fact that Jack is in battle mode. He's ready to go to war, and no one is exempt. Even Kyle. Why is Jack so sour with Kyle all of a sudden? I mean, now Kyle is going to have to change his license plates, for crying out loud. Jabot 1. How about that? Thank you, Mariah, for that little detail. Kyle has Jabot 1 license plates. I can't believe that Jack did not have the Jabot 1 license plates. How did Kyle get that anyway? Feud. Maybe they'll go to war over the plates. You would honestly think that Jack and Kyle had some kind of long-standing feud if you had just picked up the show this week, because Jack has been totally loving toward Kyle up until this week. It feels like a Quicko rip-off kind of plot change to me. But Jack called a family meeting and then purposefully left Kyle and Ashley out of it. The Ashley part, I get. He called the meeting because he was trying to get the family to boot her off of the board, which Billy and Tracy shot down, of course. But Jack asked Kyle to step away from Marchetti, and Jack was super supportive of Kyle doing anything that he needed to do. And then on a dime this week, he just flipped over to acting like Kyle's life problems were all his own fault, and he's just as bad as Ashley for leaving the company. He's a defector. It's so stark. Oh, I said stark. As in Jeremy. Not as in Jeremy, but as in Jeremy. Oh, yes. Ashley and Tucker have been working on their little plan all week to both defeat and irritate Diane. And they decide that the best way to do that, Phyllis, Tucker wants Ashley's love, and Ashley just wants control. That's what I think. And so Tucker was able to materialize in one episode what Michael and Victor haven't been able to materialize in 3 weeks, the EMT. I think that Tucker was just hoping that this will earn him the big meal when it comes to Ashley, instead of the scraps of affection that she's been feeding him that he can just pick up off of the floor under the table. So Tucker overheard Phyllis's family talking about her legal issues in a public restaurant where anyone could hear, and saying that if we got to find this magical EMT to clear everything away. And so Tucker decided that he was going to try to find him first, which would make Phyllis beholden to him. Because surely Phyllis will be the one to defeat Diane. because, well, that worked out so well on her last attempt. Phyllis, you just be irritating you. You just be irritating. That's all you got to do when you're a free bird. I think she can handle that. It's clear that the feud is still alive and well. Phyllis dreamt that Diane caught her walking around incognito in the park one day, and I wanted that dream sequence to be true. I was really hoping that that was actually what was going to happen, but I also wanted it to be bigger. I wanted that whole scene, the fake out, turned out to be a fake out scene, but I wanted it to really be a flip out. I wanted Diane to flip the park bench or something. I wanted bigger. But, I mean, it's clear that Phyllis, after all of these months, is still focused on, is still obsessed with Diane and revenge on Diane, not letting Diane win, not letting Diane beat her. But at this point, it is such a self-fulfilled prophecy. Phyllis has imagined that Diane is a threat, and she blows her own life up trying to fight the phantom that she created for herself. And now she's just going to be right back into the hot water. I mean, that being said, it is irritating, but I do love the playfulness with which Michelle Stafford was playing it, especially this week. I mean, she has to know this is ridiculous. Phyllis has got to be in hot water in Genoa City and with the fans. I feel like Michelle Stafford knows that. And so the scenes of her in the park this week, I think, was Michelle Stafford trying to remind us that Phyllis is a character that should not be taken too seriously. She's almost a caricature in a way. She is not real life because she's larger than real life. Like when Phyllis started typing out her apology letter and then she dropped it and said, wait, let Diane win? Oh, hell no. I mean, that was funny. It reminded me that Phyllis always has one foot in reality and one foot in cuckoo land at all times, and therefore she should be regarded as such. Cuckoo. At least half. But now it's time for her grand return. She is ready to ditch the clever disguises. So many wigs, so many hats, so many sunglasses. And she's ready to return to regular life. So, with a new attorney and with her family by her side, Phyllis turns herself in to Christine and Chance right in the middle of the athletic club entryway. All I could think the whole time was, couldn't they find a better place to do this? I am telling you, the management of the athletic club has really let the place go downhill. I mean, when I am coming back from my spa jazz workout, I don't want to see criminals getting arrested in the lobby, thank you. Are they just letting anyone in here these days? It says members only on the door. Oh. But I think Christine probably loved the fact that it was public. I wish it would be more public. I want to see Christine make Phyllis do a press conference or something. You could tell that Christine got some good pleasure out of it, telling Phyllis what a bad girl she is, wagging her finger at Phyllis after all these years. And then instructing Chance to slap on the cuffs, which Phyllis seemed to be liking. I swear, Phyllis had a smug little smile on her face the whole time, like just an intense, smug smile on her face, even as Chance was putting the cuffs on her. I think Phyllis knows that she's got an ace up her sleeve with the weenie EMT, and that's all, gonna make the murder charges go away. I'm assuming that any other charges that will be lingering, so if the murder thing becomes self-defense, then any other charges will certainly be minor. I mean, obstruction of justice, evading the law, faking your own death, and wasting precious Genoa City resources. I'm sure all of that will be minor. But I'm kind of wondering this week if you guys want Phyllis to go to prison for all of this. That's our poll question at yrchat.com. Do you guys want Phyllis to go to prison? I mean, I'm sure that she won't. I'm sure that she will be off the hook. Back in the office in no time. Yep. And, annoying Diane and then putting all of her effort towards fixing Summer's relationship. Oh, hooray. When Phyllis sets her mind to fixing your life, better watch out. Good luck, Summer. I really loved when Phyllis told Summer, gee, I kind of worry that I kind of am responsible for the problems in your marriage. And Summer was like, kinda? You are responsible. You are. And it's worse than ever because at this point, Summer has seen Kyle and Audra together, and in the previews for next week, she's telling Kyle, like, I want you to admit it, that you slept with her. So she knows that Kyle slept with Audra. She knows that he is trying to hurt her. And yet she is still not asking for a divorce. She is still holding out hope. Summer is full of these kind of contradictions, though, because in one breath, she's all bitter and blaming Phyllis for her marriage falling apart. But in the next breath, she's still saying we have to do anything and everything we can to save our mother. Daniel is much more c'est la vie about the whole thing. He's very focused on Lily. Clearly very focused on Lily. Daniel gave Lily a birthday gift this week. He created a game for her where she's the star. Queen Lilyanna. Sorry, how about that? A game. I mean, it's kind of romantic in a modern, geeky sort of way. And Lily also got a birthday gift from Devon, the keys to the penthouse, which she and Daniel quickly turned around and christened with champagne and roses and jazz. Yes. I mean, I love it. I think we need a place, for Lily and Daniel to have some sex. We need to have them get some sexy scenes on, and she needs a home for that. I mean, the staircase in that apartment really has not had any action in a while, so we need to acquaint the staircase with its new sexy tenants. Let it know where the sex will be happening. So I'm looking forward to staircase sex for Lily and Daniel. And if Lily would like to have any information about the building, I'm sure that Nate would be very happy to hand her a pamphlet. He came over. Would you like any, if you need any happy housewarming, would you like any information on the building? Okay. What a welcome wagon. The welcome wagon has arrived. And it's got a little white flag on top of it. Because Nate brought Lily a bottle of wine as a housewarming gift, even though that apartment has an entire wall of wine and a little refrigerated area behind the bar that's full of wine. There's so much wine in there. And that is not even counting all of the whining that Nate was doing. Well, Nate thinks that it is unfair that Lily was able to forgive Devon for betraying her, for trying to sue her. And yet, Nate is still in the doghouse over his life decisions that don't even involve Lily at all. I mean, why does Lily get to have an opinion on who Nate is dating? She's free to judge Nate because he had an affair on Elena? Well, he and Elena had the affair on Devon in the first place, and it's not like Lily has never had an affair herself. I mean, Victoria is a bad influence on Nate. That's it. Victoria is encouraging Nate to succeed in business and life. How dare she? Who is this Sharon? Who is this Sharon? I do not even recognize her right now. Her personality change is so severe. She is all serious and blank-faced all of a sudden. And then in the previews for next week, she is sucking face with Chance. What? What? Right in the middle of the coffee house? And it's like she's kissing him. She's just going for it. What? I mean, what is he even going to say about that? I don't know. I feel like Chance is going to say, whoa, back off. I don't know. Because he seems to be getting close with Summer. Has Sharon lost her mind? I mean, the thing with Cameron really must have shook her more than she is willing to admit, because she's totally changed. Where is the warm smile and the fun demeanor? All of that seems only to be reserved for Nick lately, because the most puzzling part of it all really is how every time Sharon is around Adam, she turns into a weird robot creature. Like, very robotic, very straight-faced, very stern. As if there's some beef between them, and I don't think there is, or was, even recently. I don't get it. Sharon said that she wanted to take over Cameron's company and turn it into a do-gooder venture, but now she's aggressively, kind of hungrily pitching an idea, the idea of a merger to Adam, when Sharon also knows that Adam has one mission, and one mission only, and that is to wage war on Newman Media at his newly renamed company, dun dun dun, Augustus International. Augustus International. Yes, like he is Caesar Augustus or something. Who came up with that? Augustus. I mean, I get the AD, Adam. Where's the Augustus come from? I don't know. Nobody explained it. It just was there. Now it's just there. Is he going to talk about that at all? I want to know his thought process of naming the company Augustus International. And I also want to know if we are just sliding right on into an Adam, Nick, Sharon love triangle here. Because Sharon really wants to work with Adam. And Sharon really wants Nick to work with Adam too. So that together they can save Adam from his dark ways. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what Adam has done recently that makes everyone think he needs saving. All they're gonna do is nag him on the one side and then perpetuate his war with Victoria on the other side. And maybe that's exactly what Nick wants. Maybe that's what Nick secretly wants. Revenge on Victoria for canning him at Newman Enterprises and replacing him with her boy toy. I was glad to see Sally turning a corner on Adam this week. What a precious gift, treating him like a human. Well, she needs to do that to his face. She did it to Nick. She admitted to Nick that she was touched by Adam's letter. And she acknowledged to Nick that she saw that it was just Adam simply wanting to grieve with her. And that's all she needed to do, was recognize that and then talk to Adam about it. Nick doesn't deserve that conversation. Adam deserves that conversation. I'm assuming that'll happen next week. I mean, if Sally doesn't want a relationship with Adam, fine. But don't make him feel guilty for saving your life. Blech. I don't know. Sally just, she apologized to Nick this week for shutting him down when he wanted to talk about Victor's job offer, and she ended up giving Nick her blessing to go work with Adam. Hooray. I wonder if Sally is going to end up there too at some point. But then again, I mean, it seems like Sally and Chloe's design company that we don't see is still going. I was a little bit surprised because I thought, oh, well, Sally and Chloe would have a perfect opportunity to use their business to redecorate Lily's new pad. The Lily pad. Do you like that? The Lily pad. That's what we've got to call it. Oh, I'm thinking we could go with a frog theme. Blues and greens. Wouldn't that be hip and fresh? Hip hop and fresh for the Lily pad? Yes. Can waft some scents of the lake in there. They have the whole aromatherapy thing that they do with their design business. We could get some frog scents in the Lily pad. Yeah. And then Chelsea can join in and she can be the creative director of the project. Oh, but no, she decided instead to go take Summer's job offer at Marquette. That's cool. And Connor was like, sure, Mom, anything the plot needs. I'm okay with it. Good boy. I don't know. Maybe, see, I don't know when we're going to see Chelsea in and around Jabot. We never see Mariah in and around Jabot. Maybe Chelsea and Mariah can be Jabot buds. Chelsea and Mariah can be the non-Abbott family members club, or the not sleeping with an Abbott club at Jabot. And Abby will be right in the middle of it all. Not really involved in the drama, but knowing darn well that she's going to be dragged into it. No such thing as karma, I guess. Well, the answer was Lily. No such thing as karma, I guess. She said that to Devon when she was talking about Nate's rise to the top. No such thing as karma. Well, I mean, I think Nate paid a little bit of karma on all of that. He's still paying. I think she's just continuing to make him pay. You guys got that. I thought that was going to be hard. But we had quite a few winners. So congratulations, Henry, Ron, Daisy, Michelle, Karen, Tanya, Victoria, Brittany, Tony, good old Marky, and Diana. You guys guessed it. I like this line for this week. I had a lot to choose from this week, but I like this. Hate is as strong as love. Who do you think said that? Hate is as strong as love. I think that's true. And if you think you know who said it, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. Well, last week we had kind of a fun poll question. I asked you guys which corporation would be the best one to work for in Genoa City. Top vote, and this is how I voted too, was Chancellor Winters / Omega Sphere. The majority, 46% of you, would like to work at Chancellor Winters if you had the choice. Second place vote at 24% was Jabot, 16% Newman, 14% McCall. I mean Augustus. Henry voted for Newman Enterprises / Newman Media as the place he would like to work. What a thrill it would be to work with Audra Charles. Of course, I'd probably be sent to Human Resources for harassment. She is irresistible. No kidding, man. Yadra is pretty darn irresistible. She is like the breakout star of right now. Love her. Naomi also says, I'll hire on at Newman Enterprises, but it's because Victor built that company from the ground up with his own hands. I would be the mousy receptionist at the very entrance of the building that signs for the packages and directs people to the elevators. But I would at least like to know a little about what exactly Newman Enterprises builds, buys, sells, for crying out loud. Just what is it that Victor has built? That's a good question. As far as I know, Victor buys things and then he smashes them to pieces and resells them. Oh, and soap. He also sells soap out of the back of his car. Sue W. chose Chancellor Winters because Lily seems like she'd be the most professional and very fair to work under, although I don't have much faith or interest in the kooky Omegasphere diddlings. I was tempted to vote for the Newman entries mainly because Victor is such an established powerhouse and would be a formidable ally for anyone, but it could instead be curtains, figuratively, for sure, for anyone who crosses him deliberately or otherwise. Yeah. I mean, I think I picked Chancellor Winters because I think I would rather work with Lily and Devon. But you're right. I mean, Victor Newman did build that company from the ground up. It's just I wouldn't really want to work for him. Marianne V says, I voted Chancellor Winters. I like that Devon and Lily have gotten the company under their control, no spies, etc., and that they're getting along now. I also like that the company is more modern, like the office setup. I can't wait to see what Sally and Chloe do with the decor, and I like that Daniel and Chelsea have Omegasphere up and running and that it's going well. It's different than all the other media companies that what they have going on, and I'd love for Adam to take over Newman Media and get rid of Audra and Nate. Hey, that's a good question. Are we ever going to... We have not seen the Chancellor Winters set since we were promised this remodel. And we've definitely not seen the Newman Media office in a little while. And then I imagine we're going to have new office for Adam and new office for Ashley, too. We got some new offices come up. So maybe Sally and Chloe will have their work cut out for them. Southside Granny voted for McCall because it's a fresh and new company. With that spirit, every day would be new and exciting and every avenue is available to take, whereas the other ho-hum corporations have nothing new to show in a very long time. Yeah, and you'd be working with Adam. What would it be like to work with Adam? I don't know, he's moody. You just don't know what you're going to get with him. Ron says, I've always liked the offices and atmosphere at Jabot the best. The meeting area outside of Jack's office with the blinds just seems very welcoming. And aside from Newman, I really don't know what's happening at the other two. And Victoria's created a toxic environment. I wouldn't have to ask. I wouldn't have to ask to take a leave of absence from that. The other thing great point about Jabot being beautiful. I love the leather couches. And there's the archway, the gorgeous way that black marble arch frames the area outside of Jack's office. Do you remember when they redid those blinds? Because that wasn't always there. I remember when they added that window with the blinds, we were a little unsure about it. We were like, wait a minute, this is John Abbott's office, and they made a thing about redecorating a little bit, and it made me a little uncomfortable when they changed that office. Change has to be done subtly, but the perfume bottles and everything by the elevator is so gorgeous at Jabot. Michelle also voted for Jabot since it seems to be a stable company with good benefits and free cosmetics, or maybe a Christmas bonus. Newman is a strong business, but too ruthless for me. Oh, Michelle, I voted Chancellor Winters. That's where I'd want to work, but this is the correct answer. You've given the correct answer. Jabot probably treats their employees really well, gives them Christmas bonuses, and best of all, free cosmetics, or at least discounted, like the lipsticks that get broken on the line. Can I have those? Oh, speaking of Jabot, Kamna says, most relatable line on Y&R was Mariah to Kyle saying, We're not the Abbotts. We rely on our paychecks. Yes. Yeah, I liked that. I liked her saying that. Like, hey, you kind of had this all laid out for you. You can give it or take it. You're a rich guy either way, but you want me to quit Jabot and my job and my regular paycheck when I have a new baby in solidarity with you? No. I mean, not only that, but Kyle's going to a place where his boss just hired him, but his boss is temporary. Audra is making moves like she has been there forever and like she got the promotion out of merit, but even Nate seems to recognize that his job with Victoria taking over Nick's spot is temporary, and he keeps telling people that it's temporary. Audra doesn't seem to recognize that, which makes me think that she will end up partnering with Adam and running Newman Media maybe under the Augustus umbrella and cutting Nate out altogether if he has no job to come back to. I have no doubt that Audra is thinking she is not going to step away lightly and just let Nate have that job back at any point soon. But yeah. Oh, speaking of Kyle, Ellen says, I think there's something wrong with me. I'm finding Kyle's biceps to be very distracting. I had to rewind. Okay, hold on. Did you have to rewind to see the biceps again, or to see the scene that you missed because of the biceps? Or both? Don't you just hate that when you get so distracted by the bodies that you can't keep track of the plot? Hallelujah. That makes good TV to me. Oh, and Gary says, yeah, Kyle's biceps, those babies came into play in digging up the Chancellor grave. I love this, Gary. I cannot believe that you pulled that. Do you guys remember when Kyle went grave digging? He dug up Philip Chancellor's grave to get a DNA sample from him to find out if it was Philip who was Jack's real father, right? Because I think Gina had thrown into question whether or not Jack was really an Abbott, or there was something that went on. There was a mystery man. We were wondering who Jack's real father was, and Kyle went grave digging with those biceps. Oh, good pull. Speaking of Jack, Victoria says, Jack's flaw is assuming that he always knows what's best for Jabot. He's playing right into Ashley's hands. Jack alienating each member of his family, one by one. Even Diane was outraged by Jack's refusal to listen to Kyle. Ashley here's the news. She'll be pleased to think she has been proven right. Yeah, I know. Jack will always shoot himself in the foot. It's sort of... it's the Achilles heel of his character. It's his pride, it's his ego, and he will do it over and over and over again. Victoria also says, Billy Abbott, channeling your father John, looks good on you. You gave Summer a heartfelt pep talk, and I thought I was listening to John Abbott speak to one of his children. Well done, you are full of surprises. Yes, and Ellen says, I did not have this on my bingo card, as they say. Billy and Tracy are now competing for the most level-headed and sensible Abbott Award. Can you believe it? I know, it's great. It's actually really refreshing for Billy's character to have him in this spot. I like it a lot. I like Billy a lot right now. Well, Victoria says, Ashley's self-awareness regarding Tucker is non-existent. She seems to think that Tucker enjoys playing along with her plans. He has told her many times that he is in love with her and wants her to reciprocate his feelings. And Ashley made it very clear today that she is not ever going there. Tucker needs to accept this fact. If Tucker isn't willing to accept unrequited love, then it's time to move on. But please, Tucker, stay in Genoa City. It was hard to watch Tucker wanting so badly to hear that I love you and her refusing to give it to him. And if it's not true, then she doesn't have to give it to him. I mean, I think she has been pretty clear at this point. As she said, I have reason to not trust you, and I'm just not there. And instead, I'm going to grab the champagne glasses and I'm going to give you a look, and I'm going to go up the stairs and you're going to follow me, and I'm going to bone your brains out. And if that's not good enough for you, then go ahead. And she flat out told him, I think you need to start thinking about, what if this is all it ever is? Can you accept it? And that's a difficult thing to accept, but she's told him. She has told him, and it's up to him now to either like it or lump it. Hey, Victoria, happy birthday. July 21st. It's a little ways away, but happy birthday in advance. I hope that someone brings you champagne and roses and fruit tarts. There was a little tray of fruit tarts at the Abbott house this week. I thought was really pretty and cute. And I just hope you have a wonderful birthday. Well, let's see here. Sherrod says, I think that Billy suggesting that Diane temporarily resign would be a good move on Diane's part to prove to the Abbotts that no matter what, Ashley is determined to wreak havoc. But I still believe somehow that Diane and Tucker are working together. I actually believe that Jeremy Stark was working with them too, because how is it that Victor Newman, with all his resources, couldn't find Carson for weeks, but Tucker found him in one day? I think he already knew where he was. Oh, yeah, if he was working with Jeremy Stark, then he would have known where he was. That's a really good point. And you think Diane and Tucker are still working together. Well, this brings us to a point by Ellen, who says, the endless Diane derangement syndrome is so tedious. It is really dragging the show down. It's the middle of the summer, and this is what we're getting. More, oh, Diane is so dangerous and must be stopped at all costs. Well, based on what? Just stop this and give us some fun, campy summer stories. They have done some halfway attempts with Sexy Kyle and Audra. Sexy Kyle's biceps and Audra. Daniel and Lily, and even Johnny and Daniel's adorable daughter. What's her name? Johnny and Daniel's daughter, Lucy. But no, we're slogging our way through month 573 of Diane is the root of all evil. And now they're starting to write Diane is kind of dumb, lying about Harrison, showing petty annoyances at Ashley and Tucker kissing. Come on, Diane, you're smarter than that. Everything's going so well. Don't start backtracking now. Okay, rant over. I'm going back to the colorful early 90s Abbott barbecue in my mind to center myself. Who was writing the show back then, I wonder? Not Josh Griffiths, obviously. Plus, they had writers who weren't recently fired and or about to go on strike. You know what, Ellen? I think a lot of this, it is the writer's strike. I can tell that a lot of things are different. I don't know if our writers are on strike, but it does really feel like Sharon's different. Kyle and Jack's relationship's different. All of a sudden, Diane's different. It's just, not a smooth transition. I mean, if all of these were things that we were going to work toward, that'd be one thing. But it really does just feel like Y&R's kind of changing some stuff and expecting us to just pick up on it. And yeah, I agree with you that going back to like Ashley and Nikki and Phyllis all versus Diane, it wasn't that great the first time. And we're right back to it. I mean, like you say, month 573. It is a lot. It's a lot. But I honestly think that Y&R is going to bring Phyllis back and make Jack forgive her. And I think there's going to be a Phyllis-Jack-Diane triangle. I can already see him laying the groundwork. But Phyllis has to be free first. Gary says, Phyllis and her team gave us a sensational walk down the athletic club stairs, hopefully to meet her doom, with Phyllis offering up incredible face. Awaiting her, Christine greeted Phyllis with the dialogue we have waited to hear. The DA did not disappoint and took us away from the light-hearted romp that the Phyllis saga has become into something more, at least for the moment, but we should be getting a whole lot of drama out of Phyllis's capture alongside the hijinks. I hope there are hijinks. I really do. I would like to see Christine do the perp walk thing. I want to see like news reports and newspapers showing that Phyllis was caught. I think all of that stuff would be fun. But I like the scene in the park with Diane and Phyllis in the fantasy scene. That should have been bigger. I kind of felt like that Phyllis turning herself in should have been a little bigger. I kind of wish it would have been in the park and maybe they would have had some photographers come in and snap some photos. Like I wish Christine had done something to alert the press and then they came in and we could see that happening and just, I don't know, bigger. I had bigger in mind. But Diana says I loved it when Christine told Phyllis that she comes waffling down the stairs as if she's some prom queen. And Phyllis just stares at Christine with a face that displays so much attitude and absolutely no remorse for some reason. I guess Phyllis feels like she has to act like she has done no wrong and that she had a good reason for all that she did, but she looked so creepily at Christine, like one of the Manson clan members. I hope Christine puts Phyllis away for a long while. We see too much of the actress, and I would love for Christine to have a full-time storyline instead of seeing Phyllis all the time. And you know, it's interesting too then that we switched over to Heather as being the attorney. And then in the previews for next week, we have Heather saying to Christine, "We don't let your longtime feud with Phyllis affect the case." I want to see Christine's longtime feud with Phyllis affect the case, frankly. Daisy says, I think Phyllis's case could be thrown out of court, considering that the district attorney hates the defendant. I don't know how Christine can justify herself being on this case. I'd like to see her stand in court and try, though. But considering there's video evidence of Christine's unprofessional lashing out at Phyllis, I would think she'd have to drop the case, even if there was a different DA. What she said in public might show her personal prejudice has tainted the case, and Christine's prejudice against Phyllis can be shown in her treatment of Diane. Diane faked her death and then stayed hidden even after people were accused of killing her, and then returned years later and had no consequences from Christine. Also, if Phyllis's case does get thrown out, I think Summer's would too. Oh, I didn't think about that little bit of video that Tucker took being used against Christine. Oh, that's true, because he is trying to get Phyllis off the hook, so maybe that is a little bit of blackmail. I just thought he was taking the video to send it to Diane and taunt her a little bit, but that's a good idea. Oh, we gotta talk about this. Diana says, Allie, you mentioned about Michael Baldwin's eye a couple of weeks ago. I noticed it right away as well. But this week it looked a little better than before. But what was very noticeable was how different Tracy's voice was the other day. It sounded like maybe she had false teeth or some skin tightening surgery that made her voice sound different. I'm not sure what the other chatters thought about it. I noticed that too. I just thought she had a cold. But yeah, it did seem very tight. Like she was uncomfortable. But that's a good point. Maybe it was some kind of dental work or something. I'm not sure what what'd you call it? Skin tightening surgery. Can I get some skin tightening surgery? I guess that's what plastic surgery is. But yeah, it did sound tight or something in her throat. And I just chalked it up to maybe her throat was swollen or something. But that's a good question. And then, okay, well, the bigger issue here is Diana goes on to say, it seems likely that Christian LeBlanc had to leave the show due to his eye. I just read that apparently he posted online that he had eye surgery. I hope he has a speedy recovery if this is the case. He's a great actor and his character is very likable. I mentioned this once, like 3 weeks ago, and then I said to myself, I'm not going to keep mentioning it. No one else is talking about it, so I'm not going to push it and be the only one, but it was so noticeable to me, and every time I saw Michael in the past 3 weeks, I Googled, I even did like filters, like to find what Christian LeBlanc within the last week, Christian LeBlanc's eye, and then I filtered the search results for the last week to try to find out what was going on. I didn't see anything about eye surgery until you said that, Diana, and then I put eye surgery into my search for the past week, and there was some other places saying something about the eye surgery, but I didn't see him posting it. I went to his Instagram, and I think the Facebook was the other one, and there was nothing there about it. So I hope that it's something that is recoverable, because it almost looked to me, I thought it almost looks like a stroke or something, because the whole eyelid seemed to be having some trouble. So hopefully he is able to get the help that he needs, and that is probably why we are all of a sudden seeing Heather. And Robin says, Heather, yawn. She and Daniel don't fit at all. Why are they bringing her back? I guess the daughter will soon follow. I'm going to guess that Christian the Block, an emergency, had to go out, and Michelle Morgan was not available, and Heather was the only other lawyer that they could come up with on a short notice to do this. Because you're right, it doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense that Heather would come take Phyllis's case. She was hot to trot to get out of town. She's got some new romance back in Peru or wherever it was she lives. She wanted to get out. She wanted to go back to her new love now that she's over with Daniel, but apparently she's been spending a lot of time in Savannah. She just so happened to be there to take Phyllis's case. And when Heather came in, she said, look, Phyllis, I know you don't like me. And I thought, well, they don't have a problem with each other. Phyllis was there trying to plead the case for the relationship, and she still loves Lucy. And I didn't think there was tension between Heather and Phyllis, but apparently there is. And apparently Heather's taken over the case, and she's really wanting to. It was almost like she had to convince Phyllis to go along with it. I would imagine that Heather would be like, take it or leave it. I've got other things to do. I've got an office full of blue suits to return to. Well, Connie says, hey, they're doing a great job of hiding Chelsea's baby bump. And I'm wondering when we will see them do the same for Lily, or if her pregnancy will be written into the story. Congratulations to both moms as we happily welcome their real-life baby news. Yeah, I forgot that Crystal Khalil announced that she's pregnant too. Ooh, what if it gets written into the story? That'd be pretty good. Yes! I bet you're right. I think that'll be written into the story. Ooh. Well, just a couple of fashion notes here. Connie also says, I'm loving Victoria's new hair color. I did not notice Victoria's new hair color, but this is maybe the second or third week in a row that someone has mentioned Victoria's hair color, so I thought I would give a shout out to that. It's apparently a little lighter. Sharon W. says, Sharon looked beautiful on Tuesday in her white outfit. I loved her separate chats with Victor and with Adam, and I would love to see more of those pairings. I also loved Audra's green dress. The dress made her dark hair stand out and vice versa. And as someone else said, I need more cowbell. I need more Tucker and Ashley. Sharon in all white, you know, I love that. All white serving coffee. The fantasy is real. And then, yes, Audra's green dress. It was so vibrant and beautiful. Daisy says, I hope that Abby and Devon have a housewarming party. They can invite everyone. I'd love to see the interactions, the stares, the fake smiles, and some real ones. And maybe some cake throwing as an homage to Mrs. Chancellor's home. That would be fun. Ah, Daisy, that would be fun. A housewarming party at the Chance Manch. Maybe 2 housewarming parties, because Adam also he mentioned being interested in Lily's old place, the one that she shared with Billy. So I'm thinking maybe Adam's going to move in there. He said base of operations, but I mean, an apartment makes more sense. I'm thinking maybe Y&R has finally gotten the message that, real people live in homes, not hotels. Okay, everybody, that does it for me. It's your turn to go to yrchat.com to leave your comments and then come back next Sunday and we will chat about it all, okay? I'll see you then.